when the whole East-West thing started, we were caught off guard, and that broke my man's heart.
To pick a side, I mean, you picked a side. Now you taking on all of their enemies. When you born in it.
The courtroom buzzed with tension as a new chapter unfolded in the saga of Shakur's assassination, a mystery that had haunted the music world for nearly 3 decades. Sean Diddy Combs, once celebrated as a titan of hip-hop, now found himself at the epicenter of explosive allegations that could forever alter his legacy. On this day, the trial had taken a sinister turn, with prosecutors presenting chilling evidence that seemed torn from the pages of a crime thriller. The whispers of conspiracy, long relegated to the fringes of public discourse, were now being spoken aloud in a federal court. The revelation came in the form of leaked court documents and testimony from Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, a self-proclaimed shot caller of the Southside Crips and a key witness in the Shakur investigation. In a covertly recorded police interview, Davis had named Diddy 47 times, alleging that the mogul had offered millions to eliminate both Shakur and Death Row Records founder Suge Knight. The motive? A toxic mix of fear and revenge. Shakur's infamous diss track, Hit 'Em Up, had not only ridiculed Diddy, but also escalated the bitter East Coast-West Coast rivalry that consumed the hip-hop world in the 8,990 S. Davis claimed that Diddy, desperate to protect his empire, had issued a chilling directive: "I'll give anything for that dude's head."
People were starting to say it's an East Coast-West Coast rivalry because it was people that's trying to make money. It was true people trying to make careers, it was people trying to get famous.
The prosecution's case was bolstered by a 2009 police interview transcript, now entered into evidence. It painted a picture of a carefully orchestrated plot, with Diddy allegedly enlisting Davis to carry out the hit. According to Davis, the bounty was brokered through a mutual acquaintance, Eric Zip Martin, who provided the assassination weapon, a Glock, and may have pocketed the promised payout instead of passing it along to Davis's crew. These revelations came alongside a damning tweet that surfaced earlier this week, suggesting Diddy had Shakur dealt with for a staggering $1 million. While Diddy's legal team dismissed the allegations as pure fiction, the courtroom's charged atmosphere suggested otherwise.
Diddy named Diddy 77 times in court documents related to Tupac.
But the trial wasn't just about Diddy's alleged involvement in Shakur's assassination. It was also a reckoning for a man whose career had been built on an image of invincibility. The tribunal was informed about how Diddy, noticeably disturbed, had previously rendezvoused with Davis in a vehicle lot following the homicide. Davis described Diddy as scared, his eyes darting nervously as they exchanged words. "He wasn't paying attention to anyone else, just watching us," Davis recounted. This portrayal of a man consumed by fear stood in stark contrast to the public image Diddy had cultivated for years. As the courtroom revelations unfolded, the narrative shifted back to the night of September 7th, 1996, a night that would forever change the course of music history. End quote. Now, left to this news media of events leading up to Shakur's assassination were as chaotic as they were tragic. Hours before the shooting, Shakur had been involved in a violent altercation at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Surveillance footage showed him and his entourage attacking a man later identified as Orlando Babyleen Anderson, a member of the Southside Crips. The brawl was sparked by a chain-snatching incident in Los Angeles, but its repercussions would be felt far beyond that evening.
The only man currently facing charges in the case, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, claims that Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, paid for a hit on Tupac.
After the fight, Shakur and Suge Knight left the MGM Grand in a black BMW, their destination, Club 662, where Shakur was scheduled to perform. As their car idled at a red light on the Las Vegas Strip, a white Cadillac pulled up alongside them. Gunfire erupted. Shakur was struck multiple times while Knight, who was driving, sustained minor injuries. The chaos of that night was vividly recounted in court, with witnesses describing the frenzied aftermath. The Cadillac sped away, leaving Shakur bleeding in the back seat of the BMW. He would succumb to his injuries 6 days later at just 25 years old.
Right now, Davis is fighting for bail ahead of his trial, which he has pleaded not.
The prosecution argued that the altercation at the MGM Grand had made Shakur a marked man, accelerating a plan already in motion. Davis's testimony placed his crew, the Southside Crips, in the Cadillac that carried out the drive-by shooting. He claimed that the hit, while personal for his gang, was ultimately tied to Diddy's alleged bounty. "When they jumped on my nephew, it became personal," Davis had said in his memoir, Compton Street Legend, but the money, that was business. As the trial delved deeper into Diddy's alleged complicity, the court revisited moments when the music mogul had been publicly confronted about his rumored role in Shakur's demise. One such instance occurred during a breakfast interview years ago, where journalists pressed Diddy on the persistent rumors. His response was evasive, his demeanor uncharacteristically unsettled. Then there were the fiery remarks from Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, who had repeatedly accused Diddy of harboring secrets about Shakur's assassination. "You can't outrun the truth forever," 50 Cent had once said, a statement that now felt prophetic.
Yes. Yes. He hated every bit of it. I remember one time, he was like, who did you grow up listening to? I'm like, Tupac. I ain't mentioned Biggie. That nigga didn't even talk to me for like 4 days after that. Everything with Pac, like, you couldn't say Pac was anything better than Biggie.
The weight of public suspicion bore heavily on Diddy, even as he maintained his innocence. His critics pointed to his long history of feuds within the industry, his larger-than-life persona, and his knack for staying at the center of controversy. But as the trial progressed, it became clear that this was more than just a case against Diddy. It was an indictment of an entire era, a time when hip-hop was both a cultural revolution and a battleground. By the end of the day's proceedings, the courtroom was left with more questions than answers. Was Diddy truly the mastermind behind Shakur's assassination? Or was he merely a convenient scapegoat in a case riddled with unanswered questions? As the judge adjourned the session, the audience was left to grapple with the gravity of the accusations and the shadow they cast over one of music's most iconic figures.
Diddy hated Pac. Facts. hated his guts. Hated him.
The trial had only just begun, but its implications were already seismic. For those who had followed Shakur's career, his assassination, and the endless theories surrounding it, this was more than just a legal battle. It was a reckoning with the past, a chance to confront the painful truth buried beneath the glitz and glamour of the hip-hop world. And as the courtroom emptied, one question lingered in the air. Would justice for Shakur finally be served, or would the truth remain as elusive as ever? The courtroom drama surrounding Sean "Diddy" Combs had already shifted the narrative on one of hip-hop's greatest mysteries. Yet, as questions swirled around his alleged involvement in Shakur's untimely end, another name began rising to the surface: Snoop Dogg. Once a Death Row Records icon and a close associate of both Shakur and Suge Knight, Snoop's role in the events of September 1996 has long been shrouded in ambiguity. However, new revelations and theories have cast a suspicious light on his actions in the days and hours leading up to Shakur's tragic demise.
I never came across anything where Pac was saying he wanted to make right with these guys. These individuals didn't even like him.
One of the most striking details involves Snoop's decision to avoid being in the car with Shakur on that fateful night. The two were close collaborators, their careers intertwined under the banner of Death Row Records. Yet, as tensions reached a boiling point between the East and West Coasts, their relationship reportedly became strained. In a 1996 interview, Snoop shocked fans by expressing support for East Coast artists like Diddy and the notorious B.I.G., a comment that allegedly enraged Shakur. Sources close to Death Row recount Shakur storming into a hotel room, furious over Snoop's remarks, marking a turning point in their friendship. By the time Shakur was heading to Las Vegas for the Mike Tyson fight, Snoop reportedly declined to join him, citing vague reasons. Was it a coincidence, or did Snoop know something others didn't?
I say a week before he was best of friends. 2 days before he I don't think he liked me.
What makes this theory even more compelling is an alleged altercation between Snoop, Shakur, and Suge Knight shortly before the Las Vegas trip. Insiders describe a heated argument during a studio session where grievances were aired and alliances were questioned. Suge, always the larger-than-life figure, tried to mediate, but the damage had already been done. Snoop's absence in Shakur's final moments has since fueled speculation. Was he simply distancing himself from the escalating chaos, or was there a more calculated reason?
I just get right on the side of his head and just start talking to him in his ear. Just talking to him.
The narrative surrounding Snoop becomes even murkier when we consider his later actions. In the years following Shakur's demise, Snoop forged a surprising friendship with Diddy, the very man at the center of these allegations. The two collaborated on music, shared the stage, and were often photographed together at high-profile events. For many fans, this alliance felt like a betrayal of Shakur's legacy, given his well-documented feud with Diddy. Suge Knight, speaking from prison, has accused Snoop of playing both sides, claiming that his actions contributed to Shakur's downfall. These accusations, while unproven, add another layer of intrigue to an already convoluted story. But what if Shakur's story didn't end on September 13, 1996? Over the years, rumors of his survival have persisted, fueled by alleged sightings, cryptic clues in his lyrics, and the strange behavior of those closest to him. The most popular theory suggests that Shakur fled to Cuba, a country with a history of harboring political exiles. This idea gained traction after Suge Knight's son posted a series of cryptic Instagram stories claiming Shakur was alive and living abroad. While dismissed by many as a publicity stunt, These posts reignited public fascination with the possibility that Shakur staged his own disappearance to escape the dangerous world he was entangled in.
And Tupac's a legend. Like I said, Tupac wasn't born, he was sent to us.
Adding to the mystery are the numerous reported sightings of Shakur in unlikely places. From a bar in Malaysia to a remote village in Cuba, eyewitnesses have come forward with tales of encountering the hip-hop legend. One particularly compelling account came from a former associate of Suge Knight, who claimed to have seen Shakur alive years after his supposed demise. These stories, while unverified, have kept the conspiracy alive, sparking debates and documentaries that question the official narrative. One theory that has gained significant traction over the years revolves around the peculiar role of Suge Knight and his alleged involvement in helping Shakur orchestrate his escape. At the time of the shooting, Suge was not only driving the car Shakur was in, but also miraculously survived the attack with minor injuries. This has led some to speculate that the shooting was staged, designed to appear as an assassination while secretly providing Shakur the opportunity to disappear. Suge's considerable influence and connections in the music industry, combined with his enigmatic comments over the years, have only fueled this theory. Could Suge, known for his ruthless tactics and ability to manipulate situations, have masterminded a plan to protect Shakur from the growing threats against him?
2 weeks ago, I'm outside my office. My assistant comes up and says, Suge Knight wants to speak to you from jail. I said, who? He said, Suge Knight. The Suge? Yes. Gotta be kidding me. No.
Adding even more intrigue, law enforcement's handling of Shakur's case has raised countless questions. Despite the high-profile nature of the shooting, there were glaring inconsistencies in the investigation. Witnesses who could have provided key testimony were either ignored or dismissed, and evidence that could have shed light on the crime seemed to vanish without explanation. Some have pointed to the Las Vegas Police Department's alleged reluctance to fully investigate due to fears of retaliation from powerful figures tied to both death row records and rival groups. Others suggest that the case was intentionally mishandled to protect influential people in the music industry. These gaps in the investigation have left a vacuum for conspiracy theories to thrive, each more tantalizing than the last.
3 law firms on retainer. I don't know how much money is coming in, but I know that a lot of money is going out every single month for Diddy.
We should also consider the cultural impact of Shakur's enduring mystery and how it has been kept alive by those who profit from his legacy. From posthumous albums to documentaries and even hologram performances, the narrative of Shakur's life and his potential survival has become a lucrative industry. Some argue that the very idea of Shakur being alive has been sensationalized and monetized, transforming his disappearance into a myth that generates endless speculation. This phenomenon raises uncomfortable questions about how much of the story has been manipulated or exaggerated by those with vested financial interests. Could the enduring mystery itself be a product of careful engineering by those seeking to capitalize on Shakur's larger-than-life image? Even Suge Knight himself has fueled these speculations. In interviews from prison, the former Death Row Records boss has cast doubt on Shakur's passing, cryptically stating, "You never know with Pac. He was always 10 steps ahead." Suge's comments, combined with his intimate knowledge of the events surrounding Shakur's final days, have led some to believe that he knows more than he's letting on. Could Shakur have orchestrated his own escape with Suge's help? And if so, why has no concrete evidence surfaced?
Well, that's the thing I'm gonna tell you. We from 2 different worlds, number one, him and I.
Part of the answer may lie in the complex web of alliances and betrayals that defined the Death Row era. Shakur's time at the label was marked by both creative triumphs and personal turmoil. His relationship with Suge was simultaneously one of mentorship and manipulation, while his friendships with artists like Snoop Dogg were fraught with jealousy and mistrust. If Shakur did fake his own disappearance, it's possible that only a select few were privy to the plan, a tight circle bound by loyalty and secrecy. Then there's the matter of Suge Knight's own son, who has been one of the most vocal proponents of the Shakur is alive theory. His Instagram posts not only claimed that Shakur was living in Cuba, but also hinted at a larger conspiracy involving powerful figures in the music industry. While many dismiss these claims as baseless, they align with a broader narrative of corruption and cover-ups that has plagued the hip-hop world for decades.
Why they ain't gonna let Puffy out is because they trying to connect that Keefe D situation with Puffy. That's what I really think it is. Because if it came down to some sex trafficking, foolishness and all that there, a buku chumped up charges they couldn't prove, I don't think they got no evidence. I think they trying to keep them in there to lock in that Keefe D. You heard me, that Keefe D situation with Puff. I think that's the only reason why he's still in jail.
As we delve deeper into these theories, one thing becomes clear. There are no simple answers. The possibility that Shakur faked his disappearance raises as many questions as it answers. Why would he leave behind his career, his family, and his fans? What would compel a man at the height of his success to abandon everything and vanish into obscurity? And, if he is alive, why has he stayed silent, allowing his legacy to be shaped by rumors and speculation? Perhaps the most unsettling possibility is that we may never know the full truth. The layers of mystery surrounding Shakur's story are as complex as the man himself, a visionary artist whose life was cut short at the crossroads of fame and violence. His legacy, however, remains untouchable, a testament to his enduring impact on music and culture.
They know Puff is not a dangerous person on the outside. They know if they let him out right now, he's gonna be on house arrest. He's gonna be a good boy. He f around and do all church little videos and whatever. They know that already. That's not what they aiming for. They don't care about none of that. What they care about is they trying to connect Keefe D with Biggie. I mean, with Tupac and Diddy. I'm telling you, that's what I feel.
As the courtroom battles rage on and new revelations continue to surface, one thing is certain: the story of Shakur is far from over. Whether we're seeking justice, closure, or simply the truth, the questions surrounding his life and legacy will continue to captivate and confound us. So, what do you think? Is Shakur's fate sealed in history? Or is there more to the story than we've been led to believe? Let us know your thoughts in the comments and keep the conversation alive. After all, in the world of hip-hop, the line between fact and legend is often impossibly blurred.